There comes a moment in life when people who've wronged you suddenly realize what they've lost. And in that moment, they feel regret. They start to remember the value you brought into their lives, the loyalty, the support, the love. But when someone walks away or betrays your trust, it's not your job to be the safety net they fall back on. When someone wrongs you, mistreats you, or undervalues you, it can shake your sense of worth. But this is precisely the moment when you need to recognize your value more than ever. It's easy to feel defeated or question what you did wrong when someone you cared for decides to walk away. But the truth is, how they treat you is a reflection of them, not of you. Your self-worth is something no one else can define for you. It's not negotiable. It's not up for discussion, and it certainly isn't based on anyone else's opinion of you. When you know your worth, you set standards for how others should treat you. You recognize that respect, loyalty, and love are not just gifts you give out freely, they are privileges. And when someone disrespects those things, they forfeit the right to have them. People will try to convince you that mistakes happen, that no one is perfect. That may be true, but knowing your worth means understanding that certain actions cross a line that should not be crossed. And once they do, there's no going back. Your value is intrinsic. It exists whether people acknowledge it or not. It's something that comes from within, built over time through your experiences, your struggles, your achievements, and the love you give to yourself. So when someone regrets losing you, it's because they finally recognized what they had. But that doesn't mean they deserve another chance. Often people don't appreciate what's in front of them until it's gone. They take your kindness, your loyalty, your efforts for granted because they think you'll always be there. But when you finally take a step back, when you reclaim your worth, that's when they start to see what they've lost. And suddenly they come running back, full of apologies, regrets, and promises to change. But here's where knowing your worth becomes vital. Regret doesn't equate to respect. Just because they miss you doesn't mean they've learned to value you. Often regret comes from a place of selfishness. They regret losing the comfort you provided, the consistency, the love, the support. But those are things you should never have to beg for. And if someone can only recognize your value after they've hurt you, then they never truly respected you in the first place. They only miss the benefits of having you around. That's not love, that's convenience. And convenience is not enough reason to give someone another chance. Knowing your worth means standing firm in your decision not to take them back. It's not about being cold-hearted or unforgiving. It's about protecting your energy, your peace, and your heart. When you accept someone back who didn't appreciate you the first time, you send a message that you're willing to tolerate mistreatment. You lower your standards to accommodate their shortcomings, and in doing so, you betray yourself. Self-worth demands that you don't lower your standards for anyone, no matter how much they regret their actions. And let's be clear, people who truly recognize your worth won't need a second chance to get it right. They won't need to lose you to understand your value. They will treat you with respect from the beginning. They will see your worth in how you carry yourself and how you love and how you support them, and they will honor that. Those are the people you need to hold close, the ones who never make you question your value. But for those who didn't see your worth when they had the chance, letting them go is the best thing you can do for them and for yourself. For them, it's a lesson in accountability. They need to learn that actions have consequences, and losing you is one of those consequences. For you, it's a matter of self-preservation. It's about keeping your standards high and refusing to settle for anything less than what you deserve. You deserve people in your life who see your value without needing to lose you to figure it out. People who uplift you, support you, and treat you with the respect you deserve. And when someone who failed to do that comes back, you have to remind yourself that your worth doesn't diminish just because they now regret their actions. Their regret is not your problem. It's not your job to fix them or to give them another chance to make things right. Your worth is non-negotiable. It's something you carry with you at all times, and it's what should guide your decisions, especially when it comes to who you allow back into your life. You owe it to yourself to move forward, to continue growing, and to protect your peace. Let their regret be their burden, not yours. You know your worth, and that's all the validation you need. Losing someone or feeling like you've been left behind can be one of the most painful experiences in life. It shakes you to your core, forces you to question everything, your choices, your worth, and sometimes even your direction in life. But what often feels like the end is, in reality, the beginning of something much greater. Loss, though painful, is often the catalyst for growth. It pushes you to reflect, to rebuild, and to ultimately become a better version of yourself. When someone leaves or betrays you, it's not just about what you've lost, it's about the opportunity that has opened up for you to evolve. Growth through loss is one of the hardest lessons life will teach you. It's difficult to see the potential for growth when you're in the midst of heartbreak or disappointment. But it's important to understand that every setback, every betrayal, every moment of being overlooked or abandoned holds within it the seed of transformation. When someone regrets losing you, it's often because they didn't expect you to grow without them. They thought you'd stay stagnant, that their departure would leave you broken. What they didn't realize is that loss is often the fuel that ignites the fire of self-improvement. It's natural to feel the weight of that loss. The pain, the confusion, the self-doubt, it's overwhelming. But with time, something shifts. You begin to realize that their absence has created space. Space for you to focus on yourself. Space for you to develop new skills, to strengthen your mindset, to chase after goals that may have been pushed to the side while you were busy prioritizing someone else. This is where the growth begins, often in the quiet moments when you're alone, forced to confront who you are and who you want to become. Being left behind or mistreated often triggers self-reflection. You start to evaluate your life choices, your relationships, and most importantly, how you see yourself. This reflection can be uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Growth doesn't come from comfort, it comes from challenge. And loss is one of life's biggest challenges. It makes you ask yourself hard questions. Who am I without them? What do I truly want in life? What have I been neglecting in myself to keep this relationship or connection alive? These questions lead to clarity, and with clarity comes the power to change. The beauty of growing through loss is that it's a journey of self-discovery. As you work through the pain, you start to recognize strengths in yourself that you may have never noticed before. You realize that you're capable of far more than you gave yourself credit for. You begin to set boundaries, to prioritize your well-being, and to pursue what makes you truly happy. And in doing so, you start to attract better opportunities, better people, and a better life. People who truly value you, situations that align with your goals, these things start to come into your life because you've raised your standards and you've learned to protect your peace. When someone regrets losing you, it's often because they see the growth that has happened in your life since they left. They see that you didn't crumble. In fact, you flourished. And that's the part they never expected. They thought their absence would leave a void in your life, but instead, it created room for something far greater. For self-love, for self-respect, and for self-empowerment. You've taken the pain they caused and turned it into power. You've taken their departure and used it as a stepping stone towards your own greatness. And here's the thing, growth through loss doesn't mean you forget the pain or dismiss what happened. It means you learn from it. Every painful experience leaves behind a lesson, and those lessons are what shape you into a stronger, wiser, and more resilient person. You learn what you're willing to tolerate and what you're not. You learn who you can trust and who you can't. And most importantly, you learn to trust yourself. You learn that no matter what happens, you have the ability to rise above it. When you grow through loss, you also develop a sense of independence that is unshakable. You stop relying on others for your happiness or your sense of worth. You realize that everything you need is already within you. And once you reach that point, no one can take it away from you. The people who left, the ones who didn't appreciate your value, they become a distant memory. They may regret losing you, but by then you've moved on. You've grown beyond the person you were when they knew you. You've evolved into someone who no longer fits into the small space they once occupied in your life. The journey of growth through loss isn't easy, but it's one of the most rewarding experiences you'll ever go through. It teaches you resilience, self-reliance, and the power of transformation. You come out of it stronger, wiser, and more confident in who you are and what you deserve. So when someone regrets losing you, don't take it as a sign to let them back into your life. Take it as confirmation that you've grown beyond them. You've used the loss to fuel your growth, and that's something they can never take away from you. Keep growing, keep evolving, and never settle for less than you deserve. When someone has wronged you, it's easy for them to come back later, full of apologies and regrets. They may try to convince you that they've changed, that they now understand how important you are, and that they deserve another chance. But what you need to understand is these actions have consequences. If someone hurt you, betrayed your trust, or undervalued you, they must face the results of their choices. Accountability is not just a moral obligation, it's a lesson that everyone must learn in life. Without accountability, people will continue to repeat the same behaviors, not only towards you, but toward others as well. When people hurt you, they rarely think about the long-term consequences. They may act out of selfishness, insecurity, or a lack of respect for your feelings, assuming that you will always be there no matter what. They might believe that in time they can just apologize, say a few kind words, and everything will go back to the way it was. But when someone disrespects you, they need to understand that they've crossed a line, one that cannot be erased by mere words. They must sit with the reality that their actions have caused harm and that they no longer have access to your life the way they once did. This is where accountability becomes crucial. When someone loses you because of their behavior, they need to feel the weight of that loss. It's not about revenge, it's about making sure they learn from their mistakes. If they're never held accountable, they'll never change. They'll continue to go through life thinking that they can treat people poorly, offer a half-hearted apology, and everything will be forgiven. But that's not how life works, and it certainly shouldn't be how you operate. Allowing someone to escape the consequences of their actions doesn't do them or you any favors. It only sets them up to hurt you again, and it leaves you with unresolved pain. Accountability means that they need to recognize the full impact of what they did. It's not enough for them to say, I'm sorry. They need to understand the emotional, mental, and sometimes even physical toll their actions have taken on you. They need to see that trust, once broken, is incredibly difficult to rebuild, and that in some cases it can't be rebuilt at all. When someone comes back into your life after hurting you, their regret is often more about their own discomfort than about the pain they caused you. They miss the benefits of having you in their life, the love, the support, the companionship, but they haven't truly considered the damage they've done. That's not real accountability. That's self-interest disguised as remorse. Holding someone accountable doesn't mean you hold on to anger or resentment. It doesn't mean you refuse to forgive. Forgiveness is for you to release the emotional burden, but forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean allowing someone back into your life without any consequences. When someone has hurt you, forgiveness can come, but trust and access must be earned. And in some cases, the best form of accountability is to walk away completely and let them live with the knowledge that their actions cost them a valuable relationship. It's important to remember that accountability is a two-way street. You have to hold yourself accountable as well. You have to ask yourself, what am I willing to accept? What are my standards? What boundaries have I set, and am I willing to uphold them, even when it's difficult? Sometimes when people regret losing you, they'll come back with grand gestures and emotional apologies, making it tempting to give them another chance. But true accountability means standing firm in your boundaries and not allowing yourself to be swayed by guilt or nostalgia. You must respect yourself enough to say, no, you made your choice, and now you must live with the consequences. When you hold someone accountable for their actions, you are teaching them a valuable life lesson. You are showing them that they cannot mistreat people and expect to be welcomed back with open arms. You are demonstrating that respect, loyalty, and trust are not things to be taken lightly. They are earned through consistent actions, not fleeting words. By enforcing accountability, you are setting a standard not just for them, but for yourself as well. You are affirming that you deserve better, and you will not settle for less. People often regret losing someone who brought value into their lives. But regret alone is not enough to warrant reconciliation. Regret is a starting point, but accountability is the process that follows. It's what separates genuine remorse from temporary discomfort. If someone is truly sorry for what they've done, they will accept the consequences without trying to rush the process. They will understand that rebuilding trust, if it's even possible, takes time and consistent effort. And they will respect your boundaries, knowing that their actions have created a lasting impact. On your part, holding people accountable ensures that you maintain your integrity and self-respect. It's a form of self-care because it protects you from further harm. It's a way of saying, I value myself enough to demand that others value me too. Accountability forces people to confront the reality of their actions, and in doing so, it helps them grow. But it's not your job to facilitate their growth at the expense of your well-being. Sometimes the greatest lesson you can teach someone is that they can't always have what they want, especially after they've disrespected or hurt you. When they regret losing you, let them. Let them sit with that regret. Let it serve as a reminder that their actions have consequences, and that those consequences are not yours to fix. Accountability means letting them learn from their mistakes while you continue to grow, evolve, and move forward with your life. When someone loses you, it's easy for them to come back and offer promises to change. They'll say all the right things, paint a picture of a better future, and try to convince you that this time will be different. But words alone are not enough. If someone truly wants to be part of your life again, they need to do more than just apologize. They need to prove through consistent actions that they've changed. Growth and change don't happen overnight, and they certainly don't happen simply because someone regrets their behavior. Actions always speak louder than words, and it's through those actions that true intentions are revealed. It's easy for people to say that they're sorry, that they've reflected on their mistakes, or that they'll never hurt you again. But an apology without action is empty. It's a bandage on a wound that requires much deeper healing. When someone truly recognizes the harm they've caused, they will do more than just say they've changed. They will show you through their behavior. They will take accountability for their actions, make a conscious effort to improve, and work to regain your trust. Change isn't just about remorse, it's about making a sustained effort to behave differently. People will offer empty promises in the hopes of getting back what they lost. They will say whatever they think you want to hear, but when you pay attention to their actions, you'll see that nothing has actually changed. They might still engage in the same patterns of behavior that caused the damage in the first place. This is where it becomes crucial for you to stay vigilant and not be swayed by words alone. Look at how they behave, not just what they say. Are they making the effort to fix what was broken? Are they showing up consistently, or are they just trying to smooth things over with temporary gestures? Consistency is key when it comes to true change. A person's actions over time are what reveal whether they have really learned from their mistakes. It's not enough for them to be good for a few weeks or even a few months. Real change is a long-term commitment, and it requires discipline, self-awareness, and effort. If someone is truly committed to being a better person, they will demonstrate it in every aspect of their life, not just in how they interact with you. They will show that they have grown through their actions, their mindset, and the way they handle themselves in difficult situations. It's important to remember that someone's regret doesn't automatically mean they deserve another chance. Regret is a natural response to loss, but it doesn't mean that the person has truly changed or that they won't make the same mistakes again. People often regret losing something valuable, but that doesn't mean they know how to take care of it. Just because they feel bad about their behavior doesn't mean they've learned how to do better. Change requires effort, consistency, and time. It's about building new habits, developing a deeper sense of empathy, and becoming a more responsible person. This is why actions matter so much more than words. When someone claims to have changed, it's not your job to immediately believe them. It's your responsibility to protect yourself, to observe their behavior, and to make sure that their actions align with their promises. Are they taking the steps necessary to rebuild trust? Are they showing up for you in ways they didn't before? Are they consistent in their effort, even when it's inconvenient or difficult? These are the questions you need to ask yourself, and the answers will reveal whether or not they are truly worthy of another chance in your life. It's also important to recognize that sometimes, even with the best intentions, people are unable to change. They may want to do better, but they lack the discipline or self-awareness to make it happen. Or they may be stuck in patterns of behavior that they haven't fully addressed. In these cases, no amount of regret or apology can make up for the fact that they are not capable of giving you what you deserve. It's not your responsibility to wait around for someone to grow. Your life is precious, and your time should be spent with people who respect and value you consistently, not just when they feel remorse. Trust is something that is earned through actions, not given freely because someone regrets their behavior. Trust is built over time through consistent effort, honesty, and reliability. If someone has broken your trust, it's up to them to do the work to repair it, not through words, but through actions. They need to show that they have taken responsibility for their behavior, that they have learned from their mistakes, and that they are committed to doing better. If they are not willing to put in that effort, then their regret is meaningless. You deserve to have people in your life who don't just say they value you, but who show it through their actions every day. You deserve consistency, respect, and loyalty, not just when it's convenient for the other person, but all the time. When someone comes back into your life after hurting you, their words might be persuasive, but their actions will tell you everything you need to know. Are they showing up differently than they did before? Are they making an effort to repair the damage they caused? Or are they just saying what they think will get them back in your good graces? It's your responsibility to protect yourself and to ensure that the people you allow into your life are deserving of that space. Pay attention to actions because they are the true indicators of change. Don't let someone's words cloud your judgment or make you lower your standards. Actions will always reveal a person's true intentions. And if someone isn't willing to show through their behavior that they've changed, then they haven't really learned the lesson. Trust the actions, not the words, and you will always find clarity in what's real. Letting go of someone who hurt you can be one of the hardest things to do, especially when emotions are involved and you still care about the person. However, it is essential to understand that sometimes holding on to someone who disrespected you, betrayed your trust, or caused you pain can do more harm than good. Keeping people in your life who have already shown that they are capable of hurting you is like holding on to a burning coal. Eventually, it will burn you again. Letting them go isn't just about cutting ties, it's about protecting yourself, respecting your boundaries, and prioritizing your own well-being. When someone has hurt you, the first instinct might be to try and repair things, to hold on, to believe that things can go back to the way they were. You may find yourself making excuses for their behavior or convincing yourself that things will change if you just give them another chance. But the truth is, letting go is often the healthiest choice you can make. Holding on to someone who has hurt you repeatedly or severely will only prolong your suffering and prevent you from healing. It creates a cycle of disappointment where you keep hoping things will get better, only to find yourself hurt again and again. Letting go is not about being harsh or unforgiving. It's about recognizing that some relationships, no matter how much history or emotion is involved, are not good for your mental or emotional health. People show you who they are through their actions. And if someone has continuously shown you that they don't value your feelings, your time, or your trust, it's a sign that they are not meant to stay in your life. Letting them go doesn't mean you don't care about them or that you don't appreciate the good moments you shared. It means you care about yourself enough to walk away from a situation that is hurting you more than it's helping you. Holding on to someone who has hurt you can be detrimental in ways you may not even realize at first. It can chip away at your self-esteem, making you question your worth. You may start to believe that you deserve the pain or that this is the best you can hope for in relationships. It creates a cycle where you lower your standards, accepting behavior that is beneath what you truly deserve. Over time, this can lead to emotional exhaustion, anxiety, and even depression. The more you hold on, the more you lose sight of your own value and the boundaries you once had for how you should be treated. Letting go is an act of self-love. It is about prioritizing your own peace, well-being, and happiness. It's about acknowledging that you deserve better than what you've been given and that you are not obligated to keep someone in your life who has hurt you, no matter how much they might regret their actions. People can regret what they've done, but that doesn't mean they've changed, and it doesn't mean they won't hurt you again. Letting go is not about holding a grudge, it's about accepting reality and making a conscious decision to protect your heart and mind from further harm. The hardest part about letting go is the emotional attachment. You may have built a bond with this person, shared significant moments, and even envisioned a future together. Walking away from all of that feels like a loss, and it's natural to mourn what could have been. But it's important to remember that holding on to someone who doesn't treat you well is a much greater loss. You lose your sense of peace, your self-respect, and your ability to grow and attract the kind of relationships you truly deserve. Letting go creates space in your life for healing, for growth, and for new, healthier relationships to enter. Letting go also doesn't mean that you stop caring for the person or that you wish them ill. It simply means that you are choosing to prioritize yourself. You can still have compassion for them, wish them well, and hope that they grow as a person. But you can do all of that from a distance. You don't need to keep them in your life in order to prove that you are kind or forgiving. True forgiveness often comes when you distance yourself from the person who hurt you, allowing both of you the space to heal and grow independently. Letting go is the only way to allow someone else to grow. If they never face the consequences of their actions, if they are always allowed back into your life without having to change, they will never learn the value of respect, trust, or loyalty. By letting them go, you are giving them the opportunity to reflect on their behavior, to understand the gravity of what they've lost, and to hopefully grow from that realization. Sometimes the best thing you can do for someone who has hurt you is to let them feel the weight of their actions, to learn that they can't always take people for granted. Letting go doesn't mean the pain will disappear overnight. It's a process, one that requires time and patience. There will be moments when you question your decision, when the memories come flooding back, and you wonder if you made the right choice. But with time, you'll begin to realize that letting go was the best thing you could have done for yourself. You'll start to feel lighter, more at peace, and more in control of your life. You'll begin to rediscover your own strength, your self-worth, and your ability to move forward without being weighed down by the past. Letting go of someone who hurt you is about reclaiming your power. It's about taking control of your own narrative and deciding that you are worthy of more than just regret or empty promises. It's about creating a space in your life for people who will value you, respect you, and treat you with the love and care that you deserve. Letting go is not a sign of weakness. It's a testament to your strength and your commitment to living a life filled with respect, peace, and happiness. When someone loses you and realizes what they had, they might come back pleading for another chance. They'll tell you how much they've changed, how they've learned their lesson, and how things will be different this time. But here's the truth, giving them another chance often leads you back into the same cycle that hurt you in the first place. There's a reason the relationship ended. And while it's tempting to believe that time apart has transformed them, people rarely change without real effort and time. Going back to someone who hurt you simply opens the door to more disappointment. Relationships that end due to betrayal, disrespect, or emotional harm often do so because there are fundamental issues in how one or both people view the relationship. Whether it's a lack of trust, carelessness, or failure to respect boundaries, these core problems don't just vanish overnight. If someone comes back into your life expecting things to go back to normal, without having addressed these deep-rooted issues, they're likely just offering you more of the same pain. People may say they've changed, but unless you've seen real, consistent growth, they're just hoping you'll forget what caused the hurt in the first place. Giving someone a second chance doesn't just put you at risk of being hurt again. It also prevents you from moving forward in your own life. When you focus on repairing what's broken, you miss the opportunity to heal and discover the relationships that are truly meant for you. Staying stuck in the past with someone who hurt you keeps you emotionally bound to the same cycle of pain and frustration. It robs you of the peace, joy, and fulfillment that comes from moving on and embracing new opportunities, both in relationships and in life. There's a natural human tendency to want to fix things, to hold on to what's familiar, and to believe that people can change. But in many cases, giving someone another chance only sets you up for more of the same. You might find yourself walking on eggshells, constantly questioning whether they're truly being honest this time, or worrying that they'll hurt you again. This kind of emotional tension isn't healthy. It takes away your peace of mind, your sense of security, and your ability to trust fully again. No one deserves to live in a state of uncertainty, always wondering if the person they've let back in will betray them once more. Trust, once broken, is incredibly difficult to rebuild. It takes time, consistent effort, and genuine change. But often people come back into your life not because they've done the hard work to change, but because they miss the comfort of being with you. They miss the support you provided, the love you gave, and the stability you brought to their life. But their return is often more about their own needs than about what's best for you. It's easy for them to say they're sorry and that they've learned their lesson, but if they haven't done the real work to address their behavior, they'll end up hurting you again. One of the most important things to remember is that not everyone who regrets losing you deserves another chance. Just because someone realizes your value after you're gone doesn't mean they're entitled to be part of your life again. Their regret is their burden to bear, not yours to fix. You have the right to protect yourself from further harm, and you don't owe anyone a second chance just because they claim they have changed. Your priority should be your own well-being, your own peace, and your own happiness, not trying to make someone else feel better about the mistakes they made. It's also important to recognize that the time you spend trying to fix a broken relationship is time you could be using to heal and grow on your own. When you give someone who hurt you a second chance, you put your own healing on hold. You end up stuck in a place of uncertainty, constantly questioning whether things will really be different this time. Meanwhile, you miss out on the opportunity to move forward, to discover new relationships that are healthier and more fulfilling, and to focus on yourself in ways you couldn't while trying to mend a damaged relationship. There's a freedom that comes with choosing not to take someone back. It's a declaration that you value yourself enough to walk away from what hurt you. It's a recognition that your peace and happiness are worth more than the comfort of holding on to something familiar. When you choose not to give someone a second chance, you're choosing to open yourself up to new possibilities, new experiences, and new relationships that can bring you joy without the pain of the past. You're choosing to prioritize yourself and your well-being over someone else's regret. The reality is, people who hurt you once are often likely to hurt you again, especially if they haven't made real changes in their behavior. Taking them back only reinforces the idea that they can come back into your life whenever they want, without truly addressing the harm they've caused. It teaches them that they don't need to put in the work to change because they can always count on you to forgive and forget. But your life is too valuable and your heart is too precious to be treated that way. The choice not to give someone a second chance is about setting boundaries and protecting your emotional health. It's about recognizing that your time and energy are worth investing in people who truly value you, not in those who only realize your worth after they've lost you. It's about understanding that you deserve relationships that uplift, support, and respect you, not ones that drag you down or leave you questioning your own worth. By choosing not to take someone back, you're choosing yourself, you're choosing to create a life that's filled with peace, joy, and genuine love. There's strength in letting go and walking away from someone who has hurt you, even if they regret what they did. That strength comes from knowing your own worth, from understanding that you don't need to settle for someone who only realizes your value after they've lost you. You deserve better than second chances with someone who has already broken your trust. You deserve someone who knows your worth from the start, someone who respects and cherishes you without needing to be taught the hard way. By choosing not to give someone a second chance, you're choosing the life you deserve. In the end, not everyone who regrets losing you deserves to be welcomed back into your life. Trust, once broken, is difficult to repair, and second chances often lead to repeated cycles of hurt. Your peace of mind, self-worth, and emotional well-being are too valuable to risk on someone who has already shown they can cause you pain. By choosing to walk away, you reclaim your power, set firm boundaries, and open the door to new possibilities that align with the respect, care, and love you truly deserve. Prioritize yourself and remember that letting go is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to your strength. Let him regret while you move forward with confidence, knowing you deserve better.